Many Go teachers will tell you that you need to stay away from those first lines in the opening because there is very little territory to be made there. So eventually, beginners start thinking of this as a perfect rule to be followed, and then every time they see their opponent play on the second line, they let out a sarcastic laugh and consider it a huge mistake. Now, we all know that Go is a complex game with many rules and even more exceptions to them. So a lot will depend on the context. When teachers advise you to stay away from those lower lines, they usually mean something like this. A very common joseki was played on the left side, and now let's say that black plays here. This is a pure endgame move that has no place in the opening. So black shouldn't be playing this, and if you see this played against you, then you should definitely ignore this move as white. And instead of playing here right now, you should take any of the big places in the opening. So let's try to make the fog of mystery fade away. Let's look at a few examples where it's not only acceptable to play lower than third or fourth lines, but where it will often be considered the best move for the occasion. And right off the bat, let's start with something quite advanced. We play on the second line when it's the only move to help your stones, or it's part of a local fight or a joseki. Let's imagine that black has a star point, and white plays the famous 3-3 invasion. Black blocks, white escapes, black jumps, trying to surround white, and after this, in order to live here, white has to go down to the second line. White has to play here, and now white's position becomes stable. Or if black extends here, then in order to stabilize the corner, white will often slide to the second line to make the group safe. What if you really don't want to stoop so low? You want to keep yourself higher. Even if you do this, which is possible, the fight will often get down to the second line anyway. For example, what could happen next is black will push once, white has to extend. Next, this, push, and cut. White has no choice here, because if white captures a stone, then black will Atari and recapture the corner. So white has to connect here. And now it's a Tsuji, a nose attachment. You've seen this before, right? If white escapes like this, black will save the stone. And this is a disconnected fight for white. This is quite dangerous. So probably white will capture the stone, black plays here, and white ends the joseki by playing here once again, second line. And this is still joseki. All of these moves were necessary. And by the way, this move also brings us to the most important type of second line moves to understand. Realizing when a move like this one is necessary will definitely help you become a stronger player. So number 2, when this second line move prevents profit in sente. If your opponent can get something absolutely for free, it becomes your duty to snatch that possibility first. In this joseki that we just saw, why does white play this second line crawl? Doesn't white have better moves to play in the opening? Well, white does, but unfortunately, if white doesn't play this move right now, black will play here with the very next move. And this is sente, Atari on the 3 stones. White is going to have to capture, and then having gotten this move for free, black will just tenuki and play somewhere else. So remember, you cannot allow your opponent to get profit like this in sente. So even though white has better things to do, white has to play this move right now to prevent this free Atari for black. Of course, black is not going to respond to this, and the game will continue. Another example of this that I show all the time is when black has a corner enclosure, which is already quite safe, and white wants to approach it. So white doesn't care if black becomes a little bit stronger here, so white can attach. Black will hane, white will pull back, and at this moment, can you guess what black needs to play next? Right, black has to play this move, because this protects the corner and doesn't allow white to play here, as this move would threaten the corner and destroy half of it. So this is a sente move for white, and black needs to prevent it. Now, after this exchange, white would jump, and this is the locally good result. If you don't know about the second line move, then it's very easy to play this tempting push on the fourth line instead. But then, of course, white will play here. And now, how do you respond to this? If you know how to pull back, well then, white can just extend or jump, and this feels like a great exchange for white. Black's corner has become considerably smaller. And the last example of this that I'm going to show you is from a semi-extinct Avalanche Joseki. So white approaches, black attaches, white plays here, black blocks, here. At this point, black can simply connect, but black can also play here, second line, getting a solid corner. Now, white doesn't want to get this Hane like this, so white extends. And now, there's a very important move that black has to make. It looks quite small, but actually, if white gets this block on the second line, not only does this give white a perfect wall and a lot of territory on the lower side, but it also threatens the corner. Next, white can play here, and the corner is in danger. White can invade next. So to keep the corner well protected, black doesn't want to allow white this simple and perfect move. So, when it's black's turn, black will play here. And this move is threatening white. If white ignores it, then black can Atari and destroy the potential of the wall. White wants this wall intact, so white will probably respond. And now, after this exchange, the corner is stronger. Black can Tenuki now, or black can make it stronger once again by playing something like this. Second line, I know. And now the corner is quite big, and there's no more aji, or hidden possibilities, left inside of it. And moving on to number 3 brings us to submarine invasions. When you have a position like this, you could probably invade here by playing something like this, a normal move. But of course, you might think that black will kick after this, and after white extends, maybe black will play something like this. White has no space to live here, white has to run, and who knows what's going to happen next. If this worries you, then you don't have to play this way. You have some sneaky moves on the second line that can help you live here more easily. For example, you could play something like this. This move is looking in two directions at the same time, A and B. And if black protects the corner first, then we can easily live here on the side, like this or like this. And if black responds from the outside, then we can just push once and then just live in the corner. So much easier than playing the normal moves, right? And we accomplished all this thanks to the clever moves on the second line. And in case you're curious about such invasion moves and you want to learn how to better use them in real games, you can find a lot more information about them in our course, Fearless Invasions. And now finally, number 4, and the easiest one to explain, is responding to your opponent's second line Hane. Let's say we have part of the position that looks like this. White invaded the corner, and black has some influence, or potential territory, on the right side. Now white wants to strengthen the corner and plays this. This is a second line move, but surely you need to respond to this, unless you want white to play another extension like this and steal all of your territory here. You don't want this to happen, so you respond. You're playing on the second line, but this move is threatening white. It's threatening to capture the white stone. White will need to protect, and whether or not you're going to add another stone here, by playing something like this, to protect this black's territory from any possible endgame mischief, this is entirely up to you. It will depend on the context. Sometimes you have better moves on the board, so you will leave this move unplayed for now, and you'll play somewhere else. And note that these are not all of the exceptions to our rule. There are a few even trickier ones, but for the sake of simplicity and our mutual sanity, we can leave them out for now. Now, what about playing on the first line then? Are you serious? First line in the opening? What are you even thinking? This is some far away endgame kind of business. Never even think about playing anywhere close to the first line when you're in the opening. Unless, I guess we'll have to talk about that some other time. By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.